Happy Wednesday, everybody. If today's not the best day of your life, something's very wrong because opportunity is abounding. And I'm super pumped to share with you guys, my family here at PRMG, some great statics and tools to explode your business. Chris is a minute or two behind, so let's give him a minute to kind of jump on. He's logging on now, I guess. And for those of you that weren't on last time, great feedback, and I'm going to pour more into it and push you guys to the next level. So jump into the handout section. You'll find a handout entitled How to Explode Your Business While Working from Home. And we'll give Chris like 2 minutes. We'll kind of jump right back in. So pull it out and be ready to go because we got some fire today.
You know what, Ben, we didn't load it, but I will get it loaded for us. So I'm going to do that right now while we're on here. I'm hoping that I won't mess it up. We'll see.
All right, we'll be good. So while we're kind of taking a minute, we're also going to do a screen share. So in case you're for some reason not able to get the attachment, it's all good. We'll share our screen and do it all together.
Right? And we definitely will send it out afterwards as well, Ben.
Cool. Sounds great. So Chris says just start. So Baron, are you on the line too?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, so I got some kind of things to kind of bounce off you as I go through it in case Chris can't join the call, but it's all good. He's probably listening with us in spirit. So let's talk to you guys about how to explode the business you have while working from home. The home environment is probably settling in. It's probably like your new normal. You're probably like me. You have kids that are trying to do schoolwork, but also bothering you. And you have clients who need you and they're at home too. So what if this becomes the way we operate? What if our overhead comes down because we have built a thick skin to functioning from home? I hope this is our normal because I've traded in, like I talked about this morning, 15 years of suits for t-shirts and hats. And I don't hate it. I'll be honest with y'all. It's my new normal and I'm having a great time doing it. I save more time. I don't have to commute and I'm able to put more of my focus into my business. So now that we have accepted the fact that we might have to have a home-based business, that means we have to make other changes in our business. So how do we explode our business? Let's not be a home-based originator and have a retraction in production. Let's find out how to work from home and close even more loans. So that's kind of the theme of today. So the handout I see is in the handout section, but we're also going to share our screen. I'm going to go through it with you all. And at the end, hopefully there's time for some kind of Q&A. Let's keep going. So next page here, how to explode this thing while being a home-based originator. Let's go to page 2. So I love this quote by Steve Jobs, and it's innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. So if you're home, it's really time to think, what can I do to change my game? How can I innovate? How can I change my mindset? So I first want to impart upon you all this overall belief that we can make changes to our thought processes. We can change our perspective. So I got Baron pinch hidden. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Baron. Give me what first comes to mind. When I say, and you guys play along with me for a minute, just humor me. When I say glass half full or glass half empty, what do you think?
Half empty.
Tell me why.
I personally am looking for what's missing.
Okay. And you're looking to how to fill that kind of to the top in your mindset?
Yeah, as an optimist, I know where I'm at, but I'm always striving to have the glass full. So what's missing? What do I need to do to make it full?
So let me ask you a question. Let's look at it let's look at what is there but not obvious. So you're saying, I want to get more, I want to do more, I want to be more. That's a positive charger driver's mindset. So what if we look at what we have? We're an originator. We are an essential business. We could have it a lot worse off than a lot of other people. So I go back to my mindset, my DNA, which is like a scrappy survivor, someone that's going to make it no matter what. And I say, in my mind, the glass is neither half full nor half empty. At least there's some water to drink. And give me something. I don't care if lending shuts down to one program and one product only. Give me a 30-year fixed with 25% down and a 740 FICO. And have that drive all my competition out of the business, and I'll be the only guy left selling that product. So let's not look at the resources like we either don't have enough or it is enough. Let's look at the resources we have like at least we have resources. There's a company that's operating that we can still work within. That's the mindset. So next question for you, Baron. Wartime general or peacetime CEO?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'd say wartime general.
And why do you say that?
Because it seems like in this business, at least from a recruiting standpoint, as well as an originating standpoint, you're fighting fires.
Yeah, and that's, I agree with you on that. People would like to be a peacetime CEO because it's easy, because you're running a profitable company, you're taking big bonus checks, making lots of money. But that peacetime CEO might not be equipped for what's ahead of us. A wartime general can survive no matter what happens to them. They can live off of the bare basics of their business model, and they know that they've got the tools to survive. A peacetime CEO might not know. They might not be battle tested. So if you were in this business before or not, it doesn't matter. You were alive when the Great Recession hit. And if your mindset can be, I'm a wartime general, you don't care what happens to the market, you're going to be okay. Last thing to get our mindset right is, if you had to start all over again, Baron, with no income, no leads, no business, what would you do first?
Well, not in today's environment, but if we weren't dealing with the issues at hand now, I'd be out on the streets meeting with realtor partners.
And what if for some reason you couldn't do that? What if for some reason meeting people face to face becomes something that's trending and changing? I mean, let's think about the worst case scenario. What would you do right now if you couldn't meet people face to face again?
Well, that's funny you should ask that, Ben. That's why Chris asked me to join the call, because I was sharing with him yesterday. I was on a mastermind group, and one of the black belt moves that I took away from my mastermind partners was a guy by the name of John Hess with a different company in Springfield, Virginia. He was sharing with the team that in lieu of the circumstances, he made it a point every day for the last 2 weeks to set up Zoom meeting lunch and learns with his top realtor partners. He would go to the extent of sending them a menu from a Grubhub restaurant, send food to their house, send food to his house, and together they did a Zoom meeting, lunch and learn, talking about what's going on in the business. That's what I would do.
I love that. And that's one way to use technology to innovate. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you sit. If you haven't gotten the bug before about using technology, you do, because you use your cell phone and talk to clients. We have to innovate and find ways to get business. And I hope things go back to where they were 6 months ago, where it's frothy business. That's great for us. But I know that I can be a wartime general, and I can teach people to survive no matter what happens. And if you have that DNA, you don't have to worry about your business. You can innovate and you can thrive in any marketplace. And I've had some of the best years of my life when the market was at its worst point, because my mindset was, I don't care if it's half empty, half full. At least I got something to drink. I got something to sell. I don't care if the market goes away. I'm a wartime general. If I got to start all over again, I can make it happen. So we got Chris here joining the call. So great timing. Let's go to the next page. And Chris, let me ask you, if you were to start all over again in the business, given the tenure you had before, the market's changed, but you talk to these LOs on a frequent basis. You are our emotional leader. So if you were to start all over again in this business with no income, with no leads and no business, what would you do first?
You know what? It's so funny. I apologize, and I'm looking at this camera while we're of a brand new. Here's my frustration. I've had a brand new laptop given to me, and the bottom line is everything that I had that was automatically connected is no longer there. And so Henry Cram, bless his heart, has been doing his best to get me all reconnected to everything. If I'm not looking at you, Ben, or at least I'm probably looking at you this way, just kind of odd here, not to be looking at the camera. So here's what I would do. And it's funny you asked that question, because I literally just got off the phone with Sam Zunwald and Corey Daly, and we're actually talking about, old school versus new school. And Sam said, no, it's really new age. So what would you do? We're still, what's old is new again. If I had to get out there and get business, you could land me in Paducah, Kentucky, and inside of 30 to 45 days, I'm going to be having loans in my system, and I'm going to be becoming quickly the top producer in the region. And here's why. I'm going to go out there to the real estate agents, and I'm going to offer to help double their income this year. And how am I going to do that? Because I know that most agents are lazy and will not do the work necessary to become a superstar. So I'm willing to get out there and knock on doors. I'm willing to go out there and use today's technology to make sure that I am replicating myself faster than everybody else. At the end of the day, this is still a relationship business, and you've got to go out there and make relationships. Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry's father, one of the best coaches out there that many people to this day still swear by, especially in the real estate field. As he said, look, I don't care if you're a monkey. If you ask 99 people to do business or ask 100 people to do business, one out of the 100 is going to say yes. So how fast can you get 99 no's? That's always been my mantra. How fast can I get 99 people to tell me go pound sand so I can find that one person to say yes? Look, I don't care if 99 people do not need my services at that point in time. It's not now. It's just not. I mean, it's not a matter of no. It's a matter of just not now, is my attitude. And so I know that many people need your service and my service. So I just have to go out there and ask them. We need to ask for the business more. Period. End of story.
I love that. So let's take that and let's split it down the middle, because in one lane, yes, I can land you in the middle of anywhere because your mindset is I'm a wartime general. You can go find business. On the other end, I want to equip everybody on this call with the tool that says, if I was landed in the middle of Kentucky, whatever city you mentioned, and I couldn't go knock on a door, how could I maintain my business if I lost everything else? Because right now we can't go meet people. So this could last 30, 60, 90. This could come back over the winter. The next pandemic could be around the corner. So how do you thrive and survive if you're forced to work from home? And yes, you can meet people digitally and you can do the conferences, but what else can we do? I'm here to give you one extra tool today that you didn't have yesterday, and I want to go over it, and I'm excited to kind of outline this for our family here. Let's go to the next page. So let's talk about the current state of our debt. And I got these stats online from NerdWallet. The average household of any sort has $137,000 in debt. The average household has 7,300 in credit cards, has almost 200,000 in mortgages, 27,000 in auto debt, and 46,000 in student debt. So people carry debt. That's a fact. Bankrate says the average household has 8,800 saved. So people have way more debt than they have the means to cover the debt. It also talks about, under this 2018 study that I pulled up with mortgage market stats, and it says the average person that has equity in their home has 63% equity in their home. The average person with a mortgage has got 40% equity in their home. So people have equity like never before. We all could agree that the market's been riding hot, and people have more debt than ever before with less cash savings than ever before. So the number one thing you can do to survive anywhere is to be an expert, like Barry B, our great friend, preaches. Experts are in demand, and they always will be in demand. Why you said I can drop you in Kentucky, you can crush it, is because you know you're an expert, and you can put yourself to the front of any competition, and you can win because you're an expert. Because when you can solve people's problems, you're in demand. The problem is, here's the problem. If people who have problems can't find you, what are you going to do? If you have to go door to door and you can't, what are you going to do? Can we put together a plan? Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Well, and I don't want to ruin your cadence, but I also, I wanted just to make sure that I apologize for being late, but I want to make sure that I wanted to introduce everybody to Baron O'Brien real quick, and because it's going to tie nicely into what you're just saying right there, and I want to make sure that I introduce everybody. So Baron, can you unmute yourself for a second? And if you have a camera, great. If you don't, that's okay. I don't show your camera on. All right. So listen, this morning, Baron O'Brien, so everybody knows Baron O'Brien is, he's a legend in this industry, somebody that I've looked up to for 25 years. He is damn good at what he does. He's always been a hard-charging individual. And he switched from being an originator to basically being a business development specialist for many companies. He's one of the reasons why Prospect became as big as it did, and frankly, why New American Funding obviously grew as fast as they did. He crushes it, and now he's part of our team. And he was on a call yesterday for a mastermind class, and to what Ben is saying, Baron, I want you to share with everybody kind of what you learned in that mastermind class, which is literally almost verbatim what Ben is teaching us and going to teach us. So Baron, take it over for a second.
I already did, Chris. Before you jumped on, I shared the story of the guy that was doing Zoom meetings and ordering Grubhub for his realtor partners before you joined. So I won't reiterate that, but you also asked me, to extract a couple other things that I learned from the mastermind group, and I'll just take a quick minute and then I'll get off and let you guys finish the presentation. I think the fact that I was on a mastermind group is a very, very solid piece of value that being a part of a mastermind group. Napoleon Hill talks about it in Think and Grow Rich, my favorite book in the world. And so if you don't have a mastermind group, you might want to consider starting one. You can start them with your peers. You can start them with realtors. Ben's talking about communication and being a problem solver. That's what good masterminds do. So those are the three takeaways, Chris, was the Zoom meeting, belly to belly, Grubhub with your realtor partners, be a part of a mastermind group or create one. And communication is the key to everything. You see mayors and governors and even the president every day giving updates on what's going on. I think it's super important. That's all I got.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Baron. Sorry about showing up late and then asking you to repeat yourself. Ben, you're back on, sir. Go ahead.
I love it. The point is, we're on this call because we're all experts at what we do. And those that are experts are always going to be in this game because they can offer expert advice. And just one little piece of expert advice, I was talking to Wendell King this morning, we're all having to sell a different style. Anybody can sell no points, no fees, no cost, any market. I can teach anybody to go do that, put them in my branch and say, here's a loan, best rate in town, go sell no points, no fees. But an expert can restructure debt. An expert can tell somebody when is a good time to buy. Through the recession, your clients are going to ask you, the mark, should I buy? The rates are going to go up maybe or down and values might tank. Should I buy? An expert can step up to the table and can put together a plan for a buyer to buy during a recession and expand their portfolio. The rich get richer during downturns because they want to get rich, because they look for opportunities. So if you're an expert, you can look for ways to solve the challenges and your problems your clients have. What I want to talk about today is getting you guys on a bigger platform, because I don't care how much of an expert you are, going to sell door to door is not going to get you anywhere in this business, because you can't affect people with your expert advice. If you're really talented and you believe you're as good as I believe that you guys are on this call, then you have to get your message out there on a bigger platform. Who's going to sell more? The guy knocking on doors? I used to sell newspaper subscriptions and I hated it. I was a teenager. I knocked on doors. The dogs would bark. People would hide in their back of their house and they wouldn't buy anything. Yet I can go in front of all you, 220 people here, and I could give you guys valuable content all at one time. And that's how you can scale your business if you have to be contained in your home. So let's keep going. I'm going to give you guys the plan that I have, that I've been working and coaching many of you guys on, and how well it's working so well that I really want to make sure I outline it for those who I don't get to talk to personally one-on-one. So next page, let's talk about how to get your business out there on a macro level. So we've got 5 steps here. How to explode your business from home. You all should do these steps. The handout's here. You can follow it later. The number one thing you all should have is a business Facebook page. Why not? It doesn't cost you any money, and it's where all the attention is spent. It's free. I'm going to show you first how to set up your business Facebook page. Next page. All you have to do is go in your Facebook, most of you already have a personal Facebook account, and click on pages. Next page. Then you click on the top right-hand corner of creating page. Next page. And you click on it's business or brand. You click on get started on the left-hand side right there. Now, congrats. You've got a business Facebook page. It'll take you 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. Any questions about that, Chris?
I don't think so. No, I mean, and that's exactly what Christina Moore always recommends. So nothing to say.
Great. And she works for us and she supports it. And the reason why I love this company is it's pro entrepreneur, pro build your personal brand. There's many companies that you all could work at. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm here, but I chose to be here. I didn't have to be here, neither did you. And I chose to be here because I could build my business the way I felt was best for me. Many of you all have different strategies that are different than my strategy, and that's plenty okay. I just want to give you a different strategy that will help you in a different way. So first, you all should have, if you're in business, a business Facebook page. Second thing I want you guys to do is move all of your contacts from your cell phone, or people that know, like, and trust you, into your business Facebook page. So let me ask you a question, Chris. You can be my crash test dummy. How many cell phone contacts do you have? How many do you think you have?
If I had to guess without looking exactly, I'd probably say I have easily probably 2,500 cell phone contacts.
Okay, so let's pull out your cell phone, go phone book, where you would look up my name and scroll to the very bottom of it. If you have an iPhone or an Android, and if you guys are on this call, do it with me, please. And scroll to the very bottom of your cell phone. And how many are in your cell phone that we would consider contacts that know, like, and probably trust you? Taking you on. Sure, there's a lot. And if you're in your office or you're at home, do it with us. Let's all check.
Yeah, where's the total?
It should be at the very bottom of your phone book. So if you scroll into it, and maybe Baron, you can do it too, see if you can find your number. Go to contacts.
When in contacts, I went all the way to the bottom. Actually, I was looking because I was curious. I've never done it before, Ben, but I scrolled to the bottom and I don't see a total.
Do you guys see yours, Baron? Or any of you girls?
721 in mine.
Okay. So I've got about 4,000 in mine. Maybe you got the iPhone too. So at the very, very, very bottom, you guys, you'll see your contacts. Very bottom, after Z and Y. So while he's searching for that, let's say it's the number that you said. It's 2,500 people because you talk to people all the time.
Yep.
Let's look at just the math on that. 65% of all people 32 and older in our country own homes. So let's assume that 2,500 contacts times 65%. You have 1,625 people based on that number of homeowners in your phone. So we spend all of our time thinking we have to go make all these new relationships and all these new contacts that require face-to-face or require external communication. But in your personal cell phones, all of you guys will probably have 1,000 people that already know you and like you and trust you that are probably homeowners. Think about it like this also. Let's say that there's 1,625 people who are eligible homeowners right now in your phone. If the average person buys and sells a home every 10 years, then 10% of your database buying a home this year in any market. That would mean 162 people in Chris Sorensen's phone are buying a home this year. 162 people are buying a home this year. If they don't use you, they're using somebody else. They already know you, like you, and trust you. We're letting business walk out the door because we aren't talking to people that know us the most. With that database, you can run your business forever without even going out there and meeting anybody else if you didn't have to, if you couldn't. So the first thing we have to do is move all of our contacts into our Facebook accounts so we can start talking to them at scale. Any questions on that, Chris?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, next page, ladies. So step number 3, how do we get our contacts, or how do we get our, step number 2, how do we get our contacts from our phones into business Facebook? So you want to go to settings in business Facebook. On the bottom right-hand corner, you see settings. And in Facebook, everything is syncable today. You can sync your Facebook contacts. You can sync your cell phone contacts to Facebook by going in settings. And on the bottom right-hand side, the 3 blue bars. Next page, ladies. Then you have to simply click upload contacts. That's as easy as it is. Facebook is going to grab all those contacts because all Facebook needs is a name and a number, which is a cell phone number, to find the person's profile in Facebook. So right then and there, Chris can locate 2,500 people that should be doing business with him with one couple clicks of a button. Next page. Then click Get Started. That's going to automatically allow Facebook to sync your contacts. Very simple, step by step. Next. What it's going to do then, it's going to ask you if you want to friend request everybody who's currently not your friend. So if they aren't your friend, think about this with the customer's perspective for a second. I'm sitting home, I'm with my kids, I'm watching Jeopardy, I'm playing board games and Scrabble, and up pops a friend request from Chris Sorensen. I'm going to say, oh, great, Chris. Yeah, I know Chris. He was my loan officer 4 years ago. I was getting a loan. He friend requested me. Let me go accept him as my friend and go look him up and see what he's doing. So right then you have put yourself on top of mind with 2,500 people. Do you think that there may be some opportunities there? They may just organically reach out to you and say, hey, I've been thinking about getting a loan. I've been thinking about buying a house. Those people trust you. This is free and it's going to increase your platform. You can go door to door and sell one at a time, or you can take a captive audience that knows you, likes you, and trusts you and move them right into a place where you can talk to them all. So that puts you on top of mind immediately. It takes about 30 minutes to request them all as your friend. You click, click, click all the way down the line. Keep going. Next is you put out content. So you have to take your cell phone contacts, convert them to social media, at least Facebook Business, it's free, and then put out content. This is where everybody struggles the most. So I'm going to give you guys, and I talked about this earlier, my tips for how to put out custom content. No one's going to sound like me. No one's going to sound like Chris. Chris is a wordsmith. No one can replicate his ability to talk on the fly. He does it for a professional for a living. It's what he is. He's a professional linguist. We're not going to be like Chris Sorensen, but you can be the best version of you. So I'm going to give you guys my steps on how I have built personal content. There's 7 things that I think you should be talking about. And I've outlined them on this page here. Education, current events, common problems, client testimonials, personal content, being human, and tips. So I would suggest having some place where you can have like your content journal. And whether each page in your journal is a different category, or it could be an email thread that you have different sections on, or an Excel spreadsheet, or whatever, doesn't matter. And these are the categories. And as you are going through your day and things pop up, write those things down as future talking points, because you are talking to people all the time and you're going to get good ideas as you go. For example, under educational content, and you may just be spending your Sunday afternoon spending an hour building out your content so that during the week you got things to blast out and proclaim to your audience. So let's talk about educational. What are all the things your customer doesn't know? I can name a couple. How does 0% rates affect my loan? Is this forbearance thing good for me? Should I buy or should I sell? Should I rent? What kind of credit score do I need? All the things that you know people need to be educated about, write them down. You guys talk to people for a living. You know the things they struggle with, whether it's a realtor needing education on how to get business during this downturn, whether it's a buyer wanting, should I go to open houses? Write those things down. Just create a whole glossary of things through your own perspective, not what I say, not what Chris says, what you feel are things people should know. Because if you put it together, you'll have an easier time talking about it. Next is current events. What just happened and how does it affect your customer? How does the virus or work or VOEs or the selling of loans affect your customer? What is happening today? Write those things down. The third category is common problems. What are common problems that your customers struggle with? Saving money, having student debt, knowing who to talk to, qualifying for a loan. Write down all the common problems that your customers have. Client testimonials. Every time you close a loan, that's a win. It's a story. You can talk in the John Doe, Jane Doe context. You don't have to say Chris Sorensen bought a house with nothing down and is happy. You can say, I've got a client, we won't name their name, but here's what happened to them. Here's a win that we had. Next is personal content, another category. Share fun stories about your family and kids and things you're doing. Show how your office is working. Next, being human. Losses are lessons. Talk about the files you didn't get closed. Talk about the deals you didn't get done. Talk about things that went wrong. Be human. People want to see, I say transparency breeds trust. And if I can tell you what I'm going through, you might be going through the exact same thing and trust me a little bit more. And then the last thing would be tips. Value you can give away that will help people. What's one thing I can give you today that's going to help you become a homeowner tomorrow? So I'm not going to tell you what to say. These are just 7 things you could talk about. If you have a content diary and a content journal, and don't put pressure on yourself to be some amazing content creator, just know where content can fall under. And as things pop up throughout the day, things come up in conversations, file them away. And then when you're looking to create content, you already have a glossary of stuff for yourself. Chris, any thoughts or?
I just think that what you're saying is so perfect. And whenever you watch artists, they'll talk about how they'll all of a sudden just have like a lyric will pop in or something will come pop into their head, and they get up at 2:00 in the morning and write it down before it escapes them. To that end, I would just say that when you do run into an event or you hear a tip and you go, that's really good, take your phone, hit the record button, and just record it. Just say, hey, I just got this great idea from Ben. He just said XYZ. It's there now. So now when you do get to the weekend and you want to prepare your content for next week that you'll be pushing out, you're going to have all types of ideas. I think the problem is people put so much pressure on themselves, and it becomes an overwhelming task to come up with content because they wait until the last minute to present. But throughout the day, you're going to get tips. You're going to read something. You're going to see a headline. And you all of a sudden you go, that's a great thing to share, a great thing to talk about it. That's when you record it on your phone. You'll have it there to remind yourself later on.
Great. I love it. Great input. Let's keep going, ladies. So the next step is, and I'm going to give you guys how to go crazy macro with this. And if anyone needs help beyond this call, you know where I'm at. You can find me. Is doing a voice drop. And there are these systems, Call Loop, Ring DNA, and Live Broadcast, that scrubs for compliance and do not disturb lists. So you're not going to get any kind of trouble with this, with these companies. Now, with these call drops, it's very simple. Imagine now, walk through the lens of your consumer. They already know you, like you, and trust you. They're on your cell phone. They wouldn't be there otherwise. They've seen your friend request on their phone. They say, oh, Chris Sorensen, yeah, I'm going to accept that guy. Then they see your content that you put out. Advice on this, strategy on that. They're like, wow, that's really good. You have a lot of great. You are an expert, Chris. I didn't know you were such an expert at what you do. Awesome. Then you do a voice drop. The voice drop is considered like a slide dial, meaning if I do a voice drop, let's say I'm doing a voice drop to everybody in my phone that's my past customer. And I'm going to call 1,000 people all at one time. And they're going to all see a missed call on their caller ID and then pop in their voicemail box as a voicemail. So that's my way to get my message out to 1,000 people. If you do that, you will have more business coming your way than you know what to stink and do with it. Whether they're looking to buy a home or sell a home or do a remortgage, some people will just call you back because they missed your call and don't even care about what you said in the voicemail. So this is a way, and it's got to be in a certain order. If you do a voice drop now or talking to a cold audience, you want to heat up your audience. So press them. Oh, okay, Chris. Content, look, he's kind of smart. Voice drop, the third time they hear from you. So the voice allows you to create one message and blast it out to an audience. Let's go to the next page.
And let me just pause just for a second just to say this. Team, if you're on the call, if you've invested the time to be on the call, stop what you're doing. Pay attention. The GoToWebinar shows us exactly who's attentive and who's not. And that means if you are active on your keyboard and you are typing emails and doing other stuff, we can see that and you're not paying attention. There's no point in you being on if you're just wasting your time by being distracted. So make sure you pay attention. This is great stuff. Keep going.
Okay. And I'm going to give you my scripts. And these scripts work. And these scripts are going to get people to call you back. Would you love it? Let's say you dropped in 100 people's voicemails, one voice drop, and you got 10 callbacks. Would that not be a hot lead of someone that wants to talk to you, that would maybe cheer you up in the times when you're home and you can't get business, you can't go talk to a realtor? Great. You can do one voice drop to people that know you, like you, trust you, and they'll call you back. So I've got 3 different voice drop campaigns. One's a refi script, one's a purchase script, and one's a realtor script that I've given to you guys. And here they are. It's, hey, it's been, let's say that, okay, the voice drop has to sound personal. You can't say, hey, if you're looking to refi, call me. They know that's not personal. You've got to be a salesperson to some degree to be in this business, expert. So, hey, it's Ben Anderson. I wanted to reach out to you personally and make sure that you took advantage of the Fed's cutting rates to 0%. Let's find out what that means for you. Give me a call back. So, Chris, if I was your loan officer and that was the voicemail that you heard, what would you think?
I would think you're calling me personally, and it's a way for you to replicate yourself in a way that nothing else can. It's awesome.
Great. You can do that and drop it in 100 voicemails and probably get 10 callbacks. You had 2,500 people in your contact list. If you did that, you'd probably get 250 calls. You'd be like, shut it off. I can't do it anymore. Talk about getting business. This is scalable. Remember, they have seen your friend request. They have seen your content. Now they're getting a voice drop from you. Let's talk the purchase piece, because some of us want to do purchases. Love it. Hey, it's Ben. Let's say that you're talking to people that you previously pre-approved and they went dark on you. When MIA went missing and they closed with somebody else, or whatever the case may be. Hey, it's Ben Anderson. We previously pre-approved you and haven't spoken since the Fed cut rates. You may be able to increase your purchasing power or even lower the payment at the price you were looking at previously. Give me a call back. What would you think then?
Yeah, I would think it was great. And I think that I love the succinct. It's a very, Carl White from Mortgage Market Animals talks about the same thing, this very same message, and said that as short and as condensed as you can make it, the better off you are. It gives them a reason to call back to you. But it's a great message. Great message.
You can scale that. You can drop it in 100 voicemails and get 17 callbacks while you're sitting at home in between doing kids' homework and watching your talk show. Who cares? You don't need to work all day. Just work effectively while you're working and do something that's scalable. Last one, to all the real estate partners that we know are going through stuff right now. Hey, it's Ben Anderson. I wanted to personally reach out to you. I'm your local, and depending on if they're a partner or a new realtor, you'll phrase it. I'm your local lender, or I'm your partner in this business. You can shape it however they are to you. And I want to let you know that we are still lending while several lenders have suspended or have stopped their lending. Just because the market has slowed down doesn't mean you or I have to. Let's see if I can help you plug a hole in your business, refer you business, or be that reliable option to help you close deals that you have. Give me a call back. Would your realtors who are sitting at home pondering how to get out of this quandary give you a call back?
Yeah, people flock to strength, Ben. And one of the things I love about you and I love about most top producers is that there's a sense of confidence. And the short answer is yes. And I don't want to get you every cadence, but as I'm listening to you, the first thing I'm thinking about is I always throw myself back to the beginning of my career. And I want to be careful that if somebody is saying, you know what, yeah, that works for Ben, because as you point out, Ben also is a wordsmith. Ben also has a confidence. Ben's got all these accolades. His credibility is it's obviously nobody can argue about whether or not you are an excellent communicator or loan officer. But what I want you to be hearing if you're listening to this call is you've got to understand Ben was not born with the ability to do what he's doing. This is a trained skill that took him years to develop. And if you want to collapse timeframes on your skill set, you've got to put in the hours and become confident in what you're delivering. So I've got one piece of advice on top of what Ben is sharing with you. Make sure that every morning you get up and prepare for your skill set, prepare your day, become better at what you do, study the guidelines. I would even say one of the things that you're reminding me, Ben, when I got started my career, I enrolled myself in Toastmasters. As old school as that sounds, it forced me to become a better communicator. And when you're sitting in a group and they hand you something like a calculator and say, speak for 30 seconds or for 60 seconds on this calculator. And you have to learn how to speak and finish up at 30 seconds plus or minus one and 60 seconds. Those Toastmasters is an inexpensive way for people to really increase their skill set when it comes to communicating effectively.
And it's just practice. I mean, I was born, I would never speak in public. It's one of the most frightening things ever. But I knew where I wanted to get my career, and I knew that I had to cross some hard bridges to get to the point where I could be doing this right now. And I'm nowhere near as good as I'm going to be in 6 months or 6 years. And that's the point. I am a shallow fraction of how good I'm going to be in 2021. I am 1/10 as good as I'm going to be in 2030. I don't care what I apply myself to. You can take away my dignity, my sanity, and my security, and I'm going to find a way to make it work. I don't care, because I want it, and I want you guys to get there, but you have to want it. So these scripts that you guys use, flip it to your own words. I'm giving you just some guidance. But if you use these things, these tools, technology and scalability, you don't have to be worried about the market. You may never be able to go face to face again. I hope that's not the case. But if you plan for that, everything else is gravy on top of that. If you are forced to work at home and you use these tools, you will probably make more money, have more balance, see your family more often than ever before. Because I don't care. You can't go to lunch with any partner and get 20 people to call you back in 15 minutes. But you can do this to people who like you and trust you and get 50 callbacks in an hour if you want to. Well, have them call you back. Let's go to the next page. This isn't the end. This is only about step number 4. So step number 5 is critical. Nothing replaces the phone. So if you drop 100 voicemails and you get 10 callbacks, your responsibility is calling the other 90 people that didn't call you back. because that's where you're going to make a home run of this. Nothing replaces the phone. If you want my advice, take 3 hours every single day while you're home and time block to call. Look at how many contacts that you have. Let's say Chris has 2,500. Let's say the average person has 600 contacts in their phone. Your goal over the next 90 days, well, you could be hunkered down, is to say, all right, I got 90 days here and I got 600 contacts. So calculator, 600 divided by 90. That is 66, if I'm not mistaken. My math is right, right? 600 by 90. Sorry, 6.6. So 6.6 people per day. That's all you have to pick up the phone and have a conversation with. These people have already seen your friend request. They've seen your content that you have put out. You to them, and then you call them. By the time you call them, it's a layup. They're like, all right, Chris, here's my social. Let's get a loan. What do you want me to do? What can I do? They're going to probably say, I've been thinking about calling you. I got your missed call. I feel so bad. Geez, but your content's awesome. How can I help you? How can you help me get this done? And you just have to have conversations. They may be wanting to buy in a year. Maybe they want to buy in 5 years. Who cares? It doesn't matter to you when they buy. It's if they buy and when they buy that they go through you to buy. And by being constantly in front of them, you're building your personal brand. And that's why I love this company, because it allows me to do that and you too. So think about it. They got your friend request. They saw your content. They missed your phone call, and then you called. If they aren't going to do something then, they're just clinically insane. And that's the end of the game, because you're doing all the things right to scale your business and get in front of more people and have a lot more fun. So
Ben, let me ask you a question on that, because this is important too. Again, when I got started, I had a great coach, and he said, Chris, you can't have long conversations because you're trying obviously to build your career, and you've got to get somebody, because I need to put food on the table. This wasn't about like building relationships. This was like just finding somebody who said, yeah, you know what? I'm ready to buy or sell or refinance right now. And I was looking for that person. So I had to keep my conversations pretty short. And I had to make a lot of phone calls in a short period of time. So what do you do when somebody wants to become verbose? Do you ever like say, hey, you know what? I'd love to spend more time talking to you. I'm going to play back right now. I actually need to make a certain number of calls. I mean, do you tell people, obviously, what it is that you're doing, that you're reaching out in order to looking for somebody that you could benefit? Because the last thing you want is be derailed and talk for 20 minutes when you could have made 10 calls in that 20 minutes.
I mean, I have like my hot list of people that I need to talk to like every single day. And so I say, hey, Howard, I've got another call I got to get on, but you're so important to me. What's the next best time that I can call you back and we can finish the conversation? And then I'll honestly do some of those calls while I'm on the treadmill. And there's nothing else to do. It's like, hey, Howard, are you up at 6 a.m.? Because that's when I'm actually probably free just to get into family and funds and friend. And I'll just be on the treadmill. I'll just call Howard. Now let's catch up. I have time to burn. When I have time to burn and I'm doing something that doesn't require me to be on the clock, then I can give you more of my time. And that's a very receptive way to politely excuse yourself, but also tell them, I want to get back to you. I want to spend more time with you when I'm not on the clock. When can we get a dinner date over the phone together? Maybe I'll call you on Sunday when I'm just taking out the trash and I got my earbuds on and I'm carrying trash to the street and I got 3 minutes to go before I get yelled to get back inside. I don't know. But I try and find downtime for those special conversations because they matter. And I don't want the client to feel like I can't help them. It's just, look, let's get deeper into this conversation when we both have some downtime. What's downtime for you look like? And I'll match that time on my end.
Yeah, the first thing I thought of when you said I'd call them on the treadmill. If I called somebody on the treadmill, number one, they'd think I was having a heart attack. And number two, I probably would. So you could also, like me, if you're out of shape, you could also just go for a walk and have a conversation with somebody. If you're like Ben, go and do it on the treadmill. You just said that just to piss me off, didn't you, Ben?
Look, it's about fitness in these days. You got to be healthy with this virus.
I know. Guilty. All right, go ahead.
So I hope you guys see that these 5 steps are pretty easy. They're pretty simple. They're pretty straightforward. It's you get all your contacts from your cell phone into social media. You put out content. You do a voice drop, and then you just call these people. And he or she that's on top of my most is going to get the most business. And while our competitors are worried about margins and rates and they can't get business, your job is to acquire customers, because I call it social capital. And social capital is undervalued because you can get more people to follow what you're doing now than ever before. This is a great opportunity while people are sitting still to get them to follow you so that when they need you, it's not the first conversation, it's just the next conversation. So if you have any questions, let's roll through them. And if not, we have the info at ba365.live if you have any questions. And I'm putting out lots of content on a daily basis on Instagram. So if you guys need motivation, inspiration, you need things to kind of bend off of, or you need ways to talk to people on social media, just do our Instagram, the BA365 or at BenAnderson.365, and just copy what the heck we're doing and put in your own words.
Love it.
So, Chris, you ready to get back in the business and start selling loans again?
100%. And so I just want to take a couple minutes before we wrap up on this call. Again, as I said at the beginning, I'm going to be having a call for everybody that's on this one. If you want to attend, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live with Sam Zumwalt and Corey Daly at 11 o'clock. And I'll send out an invitation to everybody. But as I was talking to them, I asked them, I said, my specific question was, do you consider yourself old school or new school? Or, what do you consider yourself? And they thought about it because, right away, Sam goes, I think I consider myself new age. Using these tools that Ben's talking about and making sure that while you are stuck at home or you can't get out there and see people, we have to do this. But as Sam and Corey were talking about, there's going to come a point in time where we don't need to use this tool, and it's going to be an important tool, but it's not going to change what allows them to crush it every single month in and month out, which is those personal relationships. So please make sure that you take advantage of the technology, but you never use it as an excuse for creating the relationships. That is probably the number one thing that I think that people make a mistake of, is they think that they do not have to go out there and do the grinding hard work of going out there and establishing relationships with realtors and other referral partners. Ben, so on that point, let me just kind of set you up for success here on a couple of comments, then we'll leave that as a mic drop moment. One of the things that has appealed to me about you is whenever I've talked about you behind your back to people, they say, man, that guy is a grinder. He is a hardworking mofo, man. Nobody can keep up. That is a message that is something that if I'm a loan officer that's struggling, I need to hear. People like Corey and Sam and you and others didn't just start out being a top producer. I always refer to Justice Roberts because, I think so much of this young man. He started out as a LOA 4.5 years ago, and now he's one of our top 10 producers in the company. And he credits a lot of what his success to what you taught him, which is you've got to call your existing client base. You've got to stay on top of that existing sphere of influence. But you said it earlier, you said 3 hours a day. How many people can you call in 3 hours a day typically? And what did you do? Two questions. How many people can you call in 3 hours a day? And number two, what did you do when you were first getting started and you were closing 1 or 2 deals a month and you wanted to crank it up to 10 to 20 to 30?
So I think you have to find your number. And my number, when I'm doing any sales call is usually, 1 in 10 people that I ring, I can sell on whatever I'm selling that given day. So my goal is to make my phone calls under 10 minutes when I'm on the phone, so I can make 50 calls in 3 hours. And my goal is every single day, whether it's selling coaching or selling, other services that we do for businesses, marketing, media, lead generation, to make 50 calls in my 3 hours. And when you coach people, sorry, I was talking to a gentleman here, Aaron, earlier via text, and he said, hey, do you think I should hire Ben as a coach? And I said, well, I would. Because he said, Chris, I don't need the Rick Ruby, hey, down your throat, I'm a football coach and you're an asshole and keep doing this stuff. And I have nothing against Rick Ruby, so I hope I'm not offending anybody. But there's that pounce on you type of coach. And then I think you make a great balance. But how do you manage those people that are being coached by you to make sure they're doing what they agreed to do? Well, I think the result is in how happy you are. And when you're a loan officer with no structure, you're not very happy because everything is pulling you at the same time. When you have a plan and you know what the yellow brick road looks like, it doesn't look like working till 10 o'clock at night. I work like a dog because it actually gives me energy. I like to work at 1 o'clock in the morning because I get inspired. It's not work. It's just I'm feeding off of whatever I'm learning. I'm consuming something. I'm studying. how that billionaire made his billion, and that fires me up to see how I can chase my dreams and my potential. But on the mortgage side, I teach people to do 4 to 6 hours a day of mortgage. If you're doing the right things, you don't need to work more than 4 to 6 hours. It's hard work during the 4 to 6 hours, and then go spend time with your family. And the hard work is sales activities. If you're building the right system, it's you have a support team that can support you so that you can go sell more consistently. If you don't have a support team, you have to earn a support team. Go to your leader, go to your manager, say, what do I have to do to have an LOA help me so I can go write more business? If you do one voice drop, like I'm showing you in this call, and you got 35 callbacks, you would be overwhelmed with 35 callbacks. But if I'm only selling, I can call 50 people back in a day, 35 calls is no big deal. And you can originate 10 loans in a day or 6 loans in a day if you're doing the right things. So I don't tell someone to do things like I do and work all the time. Working all the time is fun for me. But if work isn't your lifeblood and you want to spend 4 to 6 hours a day, you can make a solid paycheck, a solid living doing the right things. What you can't do is ever lose a customer. They've got to be in your spider web, in your network forever. And that's the number one thing LOs don't do, is grab a customer, help a customer, and keep a customer. Because the average person buys a home every 10 years. So the average person does probably within refi and purchase 10 loans in their life. So I teach people how to control a customer and keep a customer for life. And that makes the business easier, because the more you talk to people, the more it's about how's the family, how's the kids, what have you been doing? Do you need a new mortgage? All right, cool. There's zero sales approach. It's just help approach down the road.
So I could talk to you forever, but we're on that. We're at bumping up the clock, 12 o'clock here. So one of the best things you ever said to me was, you may lose a loan, but I may lose a loan, but I never lose a customer. I never lose a client, because that loan may have gone to another lender, but I'm going to be the person that's going to refinance them or help them on the next transaction. I think that is so, so important for all of us to remember. Ben, love you. Appreciate you very much. Thank you, everybody, for being on this call. Hope this helps some of you go out there and crush it. Stir for success. People need you.
Let's do it.